I was horrified by this. If she participated in what this family came up with, I will become a single father. My name is Nick. I have a story that is hard to believe. Without knowing it, I married a woman from a family of freaks. I love my wife with all my heart, but not unconditionally. I think whenever someone says they love their spouse unconditionally, they haven't thought through all the conditions that might arise. I was sitting at my mother-in-law's dinner table having the most incredible conversation ever. I felt pretty shitty. When a problem arises, I can quickly assess it and find all possible solutions. Of course, all decisions are not necessarily pleasant for everyone involved. Some solutions to this problem seem very unpleasant to me. As I said, they can make me a single father. I thought I was married to the perfect woman. I'll soon find out if I'm right. My wife was not at our little meeting. She will come soon, and then everything will be decided, one way or another. I sat there with my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and her idiot husband. Yes, technically that makes him my brother-in-law, but I'd rather not admit it. My wife Isabel, or Izzy, and I have been married for 6 years. We were both 20 when we got married. We met at the company where we both worked. We hit it off immediately and got married a year later. We finish each other's sentences. We finish each other's thoughts. We think alike politically, socially, and morally. The latter, morality, must be tested. Isabel has an older sister, Gabriella. Gabriella was a wonderful woman and almost as perfect as Isabella. In my opinion, Gabby only had a couple of flaws. Firstly, she was madly in love with her husband, Ian, the aforementioned jerk. And secondly, she is a bit airheaded and submissive to her parents and husband. She tries to please everyone, and this often backfires. Izzy also had a younger sister, Elizabeth. Lizzie was 18 years old and stunningly beautiful. A high school senior, she planned to attend college on the West Coast next fall. Ian was a Scottish immigrant. That didn't make him a bad guy. Some of my best friends are immigrants. What made him a bad guy was his idiotic attitude. He's always the most knowledgeable person in the room. He is an expert on everything discussed, and he is the best at everything, all as a result of his Scottish heritage. Personally, I think that Ian has a huge inferiority complex. It's hard to believe he has such a bad attitude for no reason, or he's just a jerk. When we first met, he immediately began to prove how superior he was. He drank casually to prove that he was a better drinker. Gabby and Ian have been married for about 4 years. I know they've been trying to have a baby for about 2 years, but it hasn't happened yet. But I'm not going to humiliate him by the fact that my wife and I already have children. I have been blessed with 2 sons so far, and I know how devastated I would be if I knew I couldn't have children. Even though I hate this guy, my family likes him, and I don't want to upset them too much. Izzy's parents are Diego and Susan. Very nice people, but not many. Weird. I know they love me, and they love their grandchildren to death. They keep hinting that we should have more. Okay, their hints are more like, when will you two give us more grandchildren? That's pretty much all you need to know about family when it comes to our problem. In the morning, Susan called us at home and asked us to come at noon, if possible without the children. This in itself was shocking. Hey, Nick. What's the matter, honey? I'm in the office. Mom just called. She wants to know if we can arrive at noon. Fits. What's strange is that she doesn't want us to bring the children, she said, entering the office. This is weird. No problem. I'll call Jim and Linda and ask if they can watch them for a few hours. They won't mind. Okay, but I told Melissa I was going shopping with her before her sister's wedding, so I'll be a little late. You do not mind, do you? No problem at all. Okay, honey, I'm leaving. See you there. Okay, have fun. Don't rush. It was 10:30, so I called Jim and agreed that I would drop the kids off at 11:30 and then leave. My kids are 5 and 4, and Jim's kids are 6 and 4. The 4 of us get along great, so we constantly trade back and forth when one of us needs it. 3 minutes to 12, I arrived at my mother-in-law's house. When I entered, the other 4 were sitting at the dining table talking quietly. Lizzie wasn't there. Hey, Nick, Diego said. "Take a seat." I sat at the far end of the table, Diego on the other, Susan on my left. Next to Diego, Ian on Diego's left, opposite Susan, and Gabby next to Ian, just to my right. To my left was an empty seat where Izzy usually sat. "It looks pretty ominous," I said. "I hope everything is okay." "Yes and no, Nick," Diego answered. "No one dies, but what we need to discuss is certainly extremely important." "Wow, maybe we should wait for Izzy. I could call her and ask her to come over immediately. She is shopping with her friend." Susan said, "No, Nick, it's okay. I know how Izzy feels about this. Maybe it's better to talk to you about it first. I didn't like being set up by Isabel." "Wait, did Izzy know about this? Did she know that you just wanted me to be here and not her?" "No," Susan answered quickly. "But I know my daughter and the way she thinks. So it's much more important for us to talk to you." Ian looked smug. He had a very annoying smirk on his face. He clearly knew something I didn't, and he knew I wouldn't like it. Gabby looked damn excited. She was pale and held her hands on her chest as if she were frozen. "Nick," Susan began, "we have a problem. We as a family can solve this problem. We would like to get your consent before we do so." There was silence for about 10 seconds. "Okay," I said. "What's the problem? Maybe I can help with a solution." "You, of course, can be part of the solution," Diego said. "Well, Izzy will indeed solve the problem, but you will also be an integral part of it." "Okay, how about we stop beating around the bush? What is the problem?" "Nick," Susan began, "a few days ago, Gabriella received an answer from her infertility specialist. She can't have children. She cannot have children of her own and cannot carry a child to term." Gabby sobbed softly and hugged herself tighter. "Gabby, I'm so sorry to hear that. I know how much you hoped for children, but there are other options. You guys can always adopt." Susan cut me off. "We know about these options, Nick. We already have a solution." "That's great, Mom. I'm glad to hear it. If you already have a solution, what's the problem?" "Nick," said Diego, "you know about Ian's origins. He is the last man of his kind. It is important that he can father a son with his own bloodline to continue the bloodline and family name." "Of course, Dad. I heard it. But I don't know how you think I can help." "For Gabby's sake, I tried to remain serious. I really didn't care about Ian's bloodline. I thought maybe his bloodline should die out, just in case his jerk is hereditary." "Well, Nick, we all understand how important this is to Ian and his clan in Scotland, so we know the answer to this problem. The only question is how best to achieve this." "Well," I replied, "I would say that perhaps Ian should consider having a viable egg fertilized with his sperm and then implanted into a surrogate mother. Then his child will be born to the surrogate mother. It seemed to me that it was not so difficult, as simple as shelling pears." Susan looked at me with a shocked expression. "Nick, are you suggesting that our next grandchild should be a test tube baby? You told me Ian had a problem. I just gave you the solution to the problem. Besides, it won't be a test tube. But, Nick, the child will not have our blood. My grandson wouldn't really be my grandson," she said. I looked at her and a surprised expression appeared on my face. "So you want to say that if they go down the path of adoption, you will not accept the child into the family?" She realized how terrible that sounded and tried to back away. "Well, no, that's not what I meant. But we believe it is important that the child has the blood of not only Ian, but also our family." "Unfortunately, Mom, I don't understand how this is possible. Unless, of course, he divorces Gabby and marries Lizzie." "No, Nick, there is a way. It's Izzy who can solve the problem." "Well," I replied, "I'll have to talk to Izzy, but I think she could donate the egg for fertilization and then place it in a surrogate." "No, Nick, it's too clinical and impersonal. A child must be created with love." "Well, there are no other options," I said. Only Susan spoke. Everyone else stared at the table. "Nick, Isabel can give them the child they need. She's in the family, so our blood will be in the child. She will do this for her sister and her husband." "Susan," I answered, without using the word mother, Just to be clear, are you suggesting that Izzy and Ian have a baby together? Nick, this makes sense. Child. At that moment, I started laughing out loud. I laughed so hard, they all stared at me. My wife will never give birth to a child from Ian. Susan was still the only one speaking, which led me to believe it was her idea. Nick, this isn't funny. Ian must continue his family tree and family name, and we want the child to have our blood. Since Gabby cannot have children of her own, she will still raise a child of her own blood. We discussed all this, and this is the only way out. Everyone wins. Susan, you didn't answer my question about who pays the bill. Not funny. This was getting serious. I already knew I wouldn't let my wife do this, but I wanted to hear their plan. Well, you have good insurance that will pay for everything. Then I should be listed as the father. Well, yes. Then, when the baby is born, you and Isabel will give it up for adoption to Ian and Gabby. Sorry, but my wife is not going to undergo artificial insemination. She won't have to, Nick. The child will be conceived through love, as every child should be. Now I was starting to get angry. The gloves were off, and I was much less worried about hurting feelings. Wait, you think I'm going to let this asshole fuck my wife? Nick! No need to be so vulgar. Stop, Susan! Don't get on some fucking high horse! You're talking about pimping my wife. How about pimping Lizzie instead? It won't work. There will be too many questions about the pregnancy and it will interfere with college. Well, I'm glad to see that you've thought about it at least a little. What should I do while he fucks my wife? Do I sit at home? Prepare her bath and rub her belly in the evening? Is there some Scottish ritual I should do after he fucks her to make sure she gets pregnant? Will I be able to have sex with Gabby while he does it with Izzy? When Izzy gets to the point where sex isn't possible, will I be able to continue having sex with Gabby? Or maybe you, Susan? What about you? Are you in on the deal? Am I getting a cue for you? What do you think, Diego? You're awfully quiet here. Listen, Nick, I don't like this any more than you. I beg to differ, Diego. No more mom and dad for me. I'm pretty sure no one here loves it less than me. I notice that none of you are answering any of my questions. Gabby spoke for the first time. She spoke very quietly, and tears slowly flowed down her face. Nick, this wasn't my idea, but I will do anything to give Ian the son he needs. I don't want him to sleep with Izzy either, but if that's the case, I'll do whatever it takes to make it possible. If you need me to sleep with you. Ian finally found his voice. Never. There is no way he was having sex with my wife. What happened, buddy? Don't you want to change? It's not a matter of exchange. We are talking about the miracle of childbirth and the continuation of the name of my clan. There's no reason for you to make love to Gabby. Don't worry, buddy. We won't make love. I plan to be rude to her. You know, just knock. Maybe if I'm rough enough, she'll get pregnant with my baby. My sarcastic nature was coming out. These people planned the destruction of my marriage. I came out with a bang. Nick, please stop. This won't help. Gabby already feels bad, said Susan. Gabby is the only one in this room I sympathize with. Are you people willing to destroy my marriage to give this asshole a son? What the hell makes her marriage more important than her sister's? You people are sick. I swear to God, I will tell everyone I see about your crazy plan. I will be posting it on every social media page I can find, in every building, in every store, in church, whatever you want to call it. Heck, maybe you people could make a business out of this. Ready to confuse our daughters for a just cause. I can't believe Izzy thought I'd be okay with this. She knows how I feel about... Wait, is Izzy involved in this? Does she know? Izzy knows how important it is for Gabby to give birth to Jan's son. I know she will agree with this 100%. Our family sticks together. We help each other, and so does Isabel. It's not your decision, Nick. I know how hard it is for you, but you will see that this is the best way, and everything will work out. Susan, perhaps I wasn't clear enough. Izzy won't do it like my wife. You're right. She can do this without my blessing, but if she does this, we will get divorced. Gabby sobbed. I won't agree to this, no matter what you offer me. No amount of sex with Gabby or you or Lizzie will make me agree. If Izzy agrees to this, my connection with this family will end. My children will know exactly what you psychos did to their parents' marriage to get that idiot to have a son. Nick, you don't understand. I cut her off again. What I understand, Sue, is that you have no respect for me or my marriage. As much as I love Gabby, and I do, she is by far the best person here. I will not sacrifice my marriage so her husband can have a son with her blood by proxy. When Izzy gets here, and she will soon, just remember that you're asking her to ruin her marriage for her brother-in-law's vanity. A real man would not make such demands on his wife as Jan does. I think if this asshole really loved his wife as much as he says he does, he would never even think about ruining her sister's marriage. Hey, said the asshole, it wasn't my idea. I just need a son. It was her idea, he nodded at Susan, to do it this way. Look at your wife, you shit instead of brains. She looks like she's okay with it. You can finally say no to this. At that moment, the front door opened and Izzy walked in. Silence reigned in the room. Gabby was quietly sobbing, Diego was looking at the table, Susan was looking a little angry that things weren't going as planned, and that idiot was glaring at my wife. The wife immediately approached Gabby and began to hug her. Gabby, what's wrong? Are you okay? She looked around the room, then stopped at me. Nick, what's going on? Everything is fine? What happened to my sister? Gabby, everything will be fine. Isabel, I said, please tell me you didn't have a hand in what's happening here. I do not understand what you're saying. Mom told us to come to some important meeting. What's happening? Why is Gabby crying? Okay, I said. I think you're already awake, Sue. I think I'll soon find out where I am. Izzy looked at me in complete confusion. Nick, what are you talking about? What does it mean? Have a seat, Izzy. This is about to get interesting. Ian has a problem, and your mom decided it was your responsibility to solve it. Izzy turned to her mother, who was looking at me with anger and challenge in her eyes. I hoped I knew Izzy well. Mom, what the hell is going on? Isabel, dear, a few days ago, Gabby received a response from a fertility specialist. They told her that she and Ian would not be able to have a child. They said the chances of her being able to give birth were infinitesimal. This won't happen. Izzy looked at Gabby. Gabby, I'm so sorry. Although there must be other options, you can always adopt. Great minds, Izzy, I said. That's what I said. Isabel, this is not the solution we came up with. Wow, hang in there, Susie, I said. Izzy had never heard me call her mother Susie, and she looked at me like I had two heads. Don't say we, Susie. I wasn't on that shit show. Isabel, you know what a dilemma Ian faces. He becomes the last man in his Scottish clan. We have a solution that will give Ian the son he needs so Gabby can raise a child with her blood in her. Will Lizzie carry the baby for them? This is quite radical. There are other options. Lizzie could have donated an egg, which could have been fertilized and then transferred by a Sir. Isabel, this has already been discussed. It won't work. The best option is you. Mom, I think Nick and I could talk about this. If Nick doesn't mind, I can donate some eggs. Isabel, dear, Nick has no right to vote. This concerns our family. Are you saying that Nick is not a member of our family? No, that's not what I meant. What I'm saying is that Gabby, your sister, needs your help. She needs you to carry the baby for Ian. Mom, I would like... Wait, what? Did you just say that you want me to carry Ian's baby? She turned to me and laughed very nervously. I had a "how about it" expression on the face with raised eyebrows. Nick, is this a joke? No, honey, this is not a joke. Not only does your mother expect you to carry Ian's child, but she also believes that you should conceive the child the old-fashioned way. Izzy burst out laughing. She covered her face with her hands and laughed for about 10 seconds. When she calmed down, she looked at Ian, who was beet red and angry that she was laughing at the idea of having sex with him. Izzy turned and looked across the table at Gabby. Gabby, I love you so much. There's almost nothing I wouldn't do for you. One of the things I wouldn't do is sleep with Ian. I wouldn't do it even if Nick said it was okay. I love you so much, but I won't risk my marriage so Ian can have a son. Susan tried again. Isabel, please think about it. Don't make hasty decisions. Mom, Listen to me. At this point, I can promise you that your relationship with Nick is forever damaged. I'm sure you'll never hear him call you mom again. It's no secret that Nick and Ian don't get along very well. And now it's going to get even worse. I know it wasn't Gabby's idea, and I'm sure Nick knows it too, so I hope it doesn't affect their relationship. In any case, he will feel sorry for her. Dad, I can't believe you're sitting here and agreeing to all this. I'm pretty sure you'll see Nick a lot less now, which means you'll only see the kids when I bring them here. You know, I don't blame him. I'm not going to argue with him about it, and I'm not going to try to force him to come here. This won't happen. You better hope he doesn't stop you from coming to our house, because if he does, you won't be welcome there. Please understand, Nick is my husband. I love him. I will do everything in my power to make him happy. There is no competition between you and Nick. Nick always wins. I will never do anything to break his heart. I will never cheat on him. Nick, I want to leave. Can we go? That's right, honey. Gabby, I'm so sorry about your situation. Please call Izzy later or just stop by anytime you want. The rest of us probably shouldn't come to us. I think we'll leave this for a while and then discuss it again. I stood up and Izzy hugged me tightly. When she stepped back, Gabby came over to me too, gave me a big hug, and kissed my cheek. Nick, I'm so sorry that this happened. It's okay, Gabby. I love you and your sister loves you and we are both always with you. 6 months later, I heard the front door open and slam shut. Nicholas, are you home? I'm in the office. What's the matter? I was scared when she called me by my full name. The news was either very juicy or very bad. Let's go to the kitchen. I need to talk to you while I cook dinner. I walked into the kitchen and leaned my back against the counter. Okay, beautiful. What happened? You won't believe what happened. I talked to Gabby today and it turns out she's not sterile. Wait, what? What about doctors? Well, obviously Gabby misunderstood what she was told. You know how airheaded she is. When they said she couldn't have a child, they meant Ian. He is barren. His sperm is not viable. Gabby is fine. Oh, this is amazing. Has your mother already decided who will be allowed to get her pregnant? Very funny. She and Ian were almost done. She was really tired of his crap. She said even his Scottish accent was starting to get on her nerves. Well, it's for the best for her. Well, are you ready to start trying number 3? I love you, sweet. Subscribe to our channel so that your second chaff doesn't cheat on you, and go ahead and listen to the next story, because this story is nothing compared to the next one. If you're under 18, don't even think about listening to the next one.